coming in at under 2 inches. If you want it, that is our picture jasper and Java lace agate necklace. Okay, so we are moving on to Jay's first love. Well, maybe Sheila's the first love, but the turquoise is certainly a close second. This is Iron Mountain turquoise. It's a beautiful bead necklace. Look at the size of those beads. This came in at approximately a $240 appraisal. And remember, we go to 3 independent appraisers. That was the lowest price we got back. I've got the final 500 of these, and you've not seen these since March, so we managed to find a last handful of them. Look at the price, Jay. We took it from $175 to under $100. I know you're gonna freak out with that one.
Well, okay, and here again, this material, probably a lot of people who've been shopping with me actually have some of this material. But this is one of the turquoises, you know, just like anything, you know, my rough materials, these aren't renewable resources. Right. It's not like trees, right? Where you cut the tree down, you plant another tree, and you come back maybe 20 years later and you got a tree again, right? when you mine the turquoise, when you mine the rainbow calsilicon, when you mine the opal, and it runs out, when that's all mined out, then it's gone. This is Iron Mountain. Has an interesting story. I mean, as far as I know, we're the only people that have this material. We found it kind of by accident. There was a mine that was very, very small mine that was on top of this mountain. And you had to drive by this huge iron mine. It's a huge open pit commercial iron mine. I'm talking rock and roll, millions of dollars worth of equipment, multi-million dollar operation. And when I would be at the turquoise mine on the top at different seasons, when we'd come back down the road, which was during a wet season, was really interesting, to say the least. Oh, gosh. So we would come down, it's not paved, it's all just mud. We'd come down, but because it would get wet, you could look across the iron mine on the other side, on the western side of the iron mine. It would be turquoise. It would look like somebody, there would be veins of turquoise. It looked like somebody painted a vein of turquoise. And so we tried for about 5 years to get into that iron mine and see if they would let us mine, you know, the turquoise. And they didn't want anything. We're Westerners. They didn't want anything to do with us. I mean, I'll tell you what. They didn't care
you were Jay King.
No, it was like I had the plague, okay? I mean, they didn't want anything to do with us. They didn't care. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to know. One of the partners that I have in one of the businesses I had that time, which we were a turquoise buying group, I was telling him how frustrated I was. I said, I know where this turquoise deposit is, but we can't get to it. He goes, oh, I know that. He goes, no. He goes, my roommate in school, that's his uncle.
What?
So he went to him and said, look.
Oh, look at that, Jay.
You know, he didn't tell him about us. Okay, we were kind of like the redheaded stepchild, right? We were to the side. And he didn't. So he didn't. We weren't trying to be sneaky, but he didn't say anything about us, right? And so he was able, through his roommate, or you know, his friend, go to his uncle and get permission. So when they shut the mine down in that section, and they shut it down for maintenance or whatever, they would let us send in a crew. And the turquoise was literally, you didn't even have to, you could just pick it up. It was just everywhere. And so we couldn't get much because we would only be operational maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they'd kick us out. But that being said, this is some of the last of that material. I didn't even know I had any of this material left.
And by the way, we barely do. We barely do. I think I have fewer. Okay, so 450? 450 is all I have left, Jay. And you know, at the end of the day, last opportunity with a 90-day return policy. Look at the colors in there. Jay, it's so beautiful because you get the blues and the greens and all of the golden matrix. And that's really pretty. It's striking.
If you look at the matrix, each one is going to be uniquely different in its own right. But look at the size of these nuggets. And here again, all we've done is edge grind the nuggets. And you know, here again, I thought it was completely out of this material. We used to sell it all the time. We haven't had any in about, this is at least 7 years old.
Look at that.
That was the last time that we got in there. So this was kind of the last of the last. And I found the buckets on a pallet. You know, we put them in 5-gallon white paint buckets. And each bucket has about 50 to 55 pounds in it. And I found one pallet of this material, the nuggets, marked Iron Mountain. This is some of the nicer grade. It had some of the different colors. And so we were able to make these necklaces. But this is something that, you know, this is kind of a one and done now.
Yeah, and there's no way you could ever get this anywhere else. There's no way you could ever get this price.
I don't think we could ever even get back in.
That's it. And by the way, fewer than 400 now, Kevin, is that all we have? What you're getting is a graduated design that is Jay's signature, 18 inches in the length, but you do have all that room to play with Jay's signature hook closure and all of those great links, so an extra 2 3/4 inches. We've never done this price before, but this is it. This is the last of the quantity, and it's substantial, and you can see it, and no two will ever be alike. If you're new to HSN, you're new to Jay King, he does nothing to these stones but stabilize them, right? It's all handcrafted jewelry. It's just stabilized so that it looks this way for years.
Yeah. Well, we don't stabilize everything, okay? But in turquoise, here's the thing. Even the best turquoise in the world, and I'm talking stuff that, you know, is thousands of dollars, you know, even that's, you know, $200-300 a gram, right? That they sell by carat weight. All of anything that's really high quality is all stabilized. Now, what you're doing with stabilizing, there's a huge difference. You're not treating it, you're not changing the color. All you're doing is ensuring you're sealing it from within. You're sealing it so it's going to stay that color. Turquoise is a porous material. If you, I could, you know, if you, just the oils in your hands, if you've got lotions, perfumes, anything you expose it to, it will absorb that, and eventually it'll turn colors. This way, it's going to stay like that forever. It'll stay that color, and that's what it means by stabilize. You're stabilizing the color.
Final call here right now, you guys. I have 300 of these. That is all I have. 687027 is your item number. We're going to take a quick little moment. We are live simulcasting on Facebook.